Now, we just need to update the script on our ship to listen for the on-tap event from the user input handler. When it receives it, our ship will rotate towards the touch and shoot a bullet. We're first going to implement a function called turn towards touch, which will be called when the on-tap event is received. Turn towards touch converts the screen coordinates to world coordinates using screen to world point. We then start a coroutine, which is responsible for actually rotating the ship. If you've never used a coroutine before, it's simply a function that can run over multiple frames. In C#, coroutines must return the type IEnumerator and must be started using the start coroutine method. Go ahead and copy and paste the turn towards point and shoot coroutine. Since this function will run over multiple frames, we set turning to true at the beginning and false at the end, so we'll know when the ship is still turning. We want to get the touch point relative to the position of our ship, so we subtract the two to get a vector from our ship to the point. And since this is a 2D game, we set the z value of the point to be the same as our ship to keep the vector in the xy plane. To compute the amount our ship needs to turn to be facing the touch point, we're going to use quaternions. Quaternions are how Unity represents rotations internally. Luckily, you don't have to know too much about how they work. To get our desired final rotation, we're just going to use the quaternion.lookRotation method with our point vector and vector3.back, which is the up vector for our spaceship. The lookRotation method will return the rotation we need to be looking at the point. Next, we're going to use the quaternion.angle function to get the angle between our start rotation and end rotation. We use this delta rotation to compute how long it's going to take us to rotate this far, given the ship's rotation speed. The last step is to actually perform the rotation. We're going to use quaternion.slurp, which spherically interpolates between two rotations using a final parameter, t, between 0 and 1. If t is 0, the slurp will return the first rotation. If it's 1, it will return the second, and any value between returns a rotation between the first and second. We simply loop through the values of t from 0 to 1 and set the rotation of our ship to be the value returned by the slurp function. We increment t by time.delta_time to ensure our loop is frame rate independent, and we divide time.delta_time by the time variable we computed earlier to make sure our loop takes exactly time seconds to complete. Once the loop is finished, we set the rotation of our ship to exactly the end rotation we calculated, and then fire a bullet by calling the shoot function. Now we just need to register for the on-tap event and call the turn towards point function. Copy the onEnable and onDisable code snippets into the ship class. OnEnable and onDisable are called whenever an object is activated or deactivated. This occurs when the game starts and ends, and when using the setActive function. When the object is enabled, we want to register for the on-tap event. Since it's a static event, we don't need a reference to the user input handler class in order to access it. We register for the event using the += operator, followed by the name of the function that should be called when the event is received. Sending an event to a deactivated game object will cause errors, so when the object is disabled, we want to unregister from the event using the -= operator. Go ahead and run the game and try tapping around the screen. You should see the ship turn towards your touch and fire a bullet. We've now integrated our tap gesture with the gameplay and can use it to control our ship.